After years of disappointment, France finally won their first World Cup in 1998. 4 years later, in 2002, and the world champs were out in the first round. 20 years later, in 2018 in Russia, France won their second World Cup. Will history repeat itself 4 years later in Qatar? Well, to speak about the French national football team, we have a guest with us, Margaret Perrell. Margaret, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Gabriel. It's a pleasure to be here, and bonjour.
Will France succumb to the World Cup curse like Germany did 4 years ago, or no?
Oh, let's hope not. Let's hope not. Perhaps they will do what Brazil did in 1962 after winning in 1958. Who knows? However, how will France go this time? It's a guess.
Yeah.
I
mean, they have
my
the players
heart
to do it.
says France will win, but my head says I think France is facing a very big hurdle.
Yeah, but do you at least think that France will make it past the group stage, that they won't succumb to the World Cup
Most
curse
definitely, and that's going to be the challenge. If they top the group, then they will become a well-oiled machine, and I think they will progress very far. If they don't top the group, I think they have quite a challenge, because they will face the top of Group C, which will likely be Argentina. So who knows? And also, I think if you don't top the group, mentally, that can act on you as well.
Yeah.
And they played against Denmark in the Nations League and
Yes.
lost against them
And
just
lost.
recently. So that will be, I guess, the big duel in that group.
That's
With all
right.
respect, Australia and Tunisia, I guess, are the...
Probably not.
Yeah.
But you never know.
never know.
You never
Yeah,
know.
never
If
know.
there is a draw between Australia and France, and Denmark is in top shape at the moment,
Yeah.
Denmark could very well top the group.
Yeah. No one really knows
Anything can
about
happen.
Denmark. yeah.
Nobody knows. Yes.
Well, France, they've got an amazing forward line in particular. They've got Giroud, Griezmann, Benzema, Mbappe, although there's an injury cloud.
There's two injury clouds in that. There's Mbappe and Benzema
Yeah.
are not considered 100% fit, is my understanding at the moment.
Yep, and Nkunku has also been replaced. He's
Yes.
been ruled out of the World Cup and been replaced by Muani. But even still, I mean, the French team, especially that forward line,
That's right.
that's an
Excellent,
incredibly impressive
excellent.
team.
The midfield and the back, that's where I guess some of the questions are,
Yeah.
with some of the injuries, especially at the beginning of the tournament. By the time they've had 2 weeks to settle in after the group stage, I mean, they do become a well-oiled machine and
Yeah.
play well together.
What do you think about Hugo Lloris? Because you did say the back is a bit... Because I think Hugo Lloris is a good goalkeeper, but is the type of goalkeeper who'll do a really good save and then he'll do a really, really bad stuff up like the next minute.
I can't comment on that one, Gabriel, because I think that goalkeeping is one of the most challenging positions in the team.
Yes,
you
it
know?
is.
And I will feel really sorry for them sometimes.
Yes, I
Because
do.
it's the trickiest position in my view, and you may have a bad day, and who knows? Especially if one or two balls get through. You know? Are you a goalkeeper?
No, I'm not.
Gabriel's a goalkeeper. Yes.
I didn't say a good one. I just said I was a
Because
goalkeeper.
you're on your own. You know?
Yes, yeah. I know.
Well, the forwards, there's 3 or 4 of you, and same with the back.
Yeah.
But an excellent team, I would say, would keep the ball from the keeper as much as possible. It's not, the ball's never going to be near the keeper, obviously, but a really solid team will keep it in their forward line, will keep the pressure up. That's something that France in the past has done very well. When they're on, they are on, and the pressure is up on their attacking end, and their keepers don't get such a hard run when they're really switched on. That's one of the strengths I find of France as a national team.
We were talking about the injuries, but I mean, with Pogba and Kanté, they are two central defensive midfield players, right? They were there at the 2018 World Cup. What do you think? Still, the quality is still there, but since they are crucial positions, what will the impact be? In particular, that you have this outstanding offensive part, but defensively, you could have really needed them.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's anybody's guess.
Yeah.
I do think France has enough backup at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They have a few young ones coming through, but they need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
And Australia, say what you like, yes, we are not number one, but Australia is an attacking team, and Australia will rattle the opponent. If they put their mind to it, they can really rattle the opponent.
As you were saying, Australia play France 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's the opening game for both Australia and for France. That's on a Wednesday morning. For the second consecutive time, Australia play France.
As the first game.
Yeah, as a
Yes.
first game. Were you conflicted? Like, how did you react to that? Like, what would you like?
It's not easy. I mean, certainly if you have Uruguay playing, playing Australia, or Germany playing Australia, and Ireland playing Australia for the women next year. I mean, you're not conflicted. You want a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Then everybody wins.
And Australia did very well in 2018 in Russia. I mean, that game
Yeah.
where France was lucky was the first VAR decision at the World
Yes,
Cup that
yeah.
they got the penalty.
Penalty, yes.
And then Australia got the penalty, and
Yes.
they had the
Yeah.
1-1, and then very late, I think it was Pogba that
Yes,
10
Pogba.
minutes before the end scored. So
Yeah.
quite a bit of luck at that time. So who knows how it goes next week then,
That's
right?
right. So ideally, we want France and Australia to go to the group of 16. That would be perfect.
Yeah, in a perfect world, it could very well be the case. You know,
Could very well be the
it
case,
could very
yeah.
well be the case because as we said, France have a wonderful team. They've got some very good young players. Speaking of players, is there a particular player, just past, present, that you've always really liked? Like,
Well, I've had a lot of admiration for Zidane.
Ah,
I mean, that period of Zidane really stands out. And the win of 1998. That was amazing. I remember I was in Melbourne, and the night before, it was the Bastille Day Ball of the Alliance Française. And here we were all out there, and knowing that France would be facing Brazil the next morning. And midnight, we're still dancing away, allez, allez, allez. And the next morning, the Alliance Française opened its doors to the public, really, to go and watch it on TV there. I didn't go, we have 3 children, it would have been too difficult, but we certainly woke up at 5 o'clock to watch it. And it was almost an anticlimax, because Zidane got the first goal, and I think the second,
Yeah.
and then there was a third, and 3-0. You don't expect to win 3-0 against Brazil, but they did.
Yeah.
So that was really great. And by the way, I do have a T-shirt. I didn't bring it; it's over there somewhere. Which is the T-shirt of them winning the 1998 World Cup.
Oh, wow.
Followed by the 2000 Euro. So there's a T-shirt commemorating that. I'll show you, and maybe we can put it on later.
Yeah, no, we can definitely do that. Yeah.
I mean, with the history, Germany, France, I remember France in the 1980s, where they had an amazing team as well with Platini. We're not talking about him in the UEFA, but as a player.
As a player, not
player,
anything else.
He was outstanding. And they had a magnificent, that midfield with Platini, Gires, and Tijana. It was outstanding. And they lost twice against Germany. Actually, in both World Cups, 82 and 86, I think the better team.
And Schumacher was in goals when
Yeah.
he collided.
Yeah, and in
that
both,
was
in both
very
games,
dodgy.
So
That
Germany
was
won both
very dodgy.
semi-finals. But would you say that was also kind of a really great generation? I mean, the only, which was a great success, won the European Cup, not the World Cup, but a great team as well, I think, at that time.
Yes, and I can't really comment on that. That was a little bit before my time, because I've got to tell you when my interest in soccer or football really started.
Sure.
And it was in 1978. And I'll tell you what happened. It was a Monday morning. Here in Australia, we watched the final quarterfinal on a Monday morning or Sunday morning. And it was 5 o'clock Monday morning. I was expecting our second child, and Labour started. My husband, Jacques, had woken up to watch TV, and it was Argentina versus the Netherlands. And 5 o'clock in the morning, I come out of the bedroom, and I think it's coming. And he looked at me, and he said, what now? And I thought there was something more important than this baby coming out. And I thought, hang on, this must be important. So it was Argentina, Netherlands, and Netherlands didn't make it. Argentina won.
Yeah, wow. No, and a big hello to Jack.
Yes, in 1978.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining the program and for talking about France. And we would normally say good luck to France. Well, good luck to them for the rest of the tournament, but maybe not against Australia. Let's give a little bit of room for Australia as well. So
Yes.
thank you very much, Margaret. We're just going to have a quick break, but first, some more words of wisdom from Brian Yap.
Belmont, Bentley East, Brunswick. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just looking at the map where Bowens are located. Croydon, Dandenong, Epping. Well, I'm glad that there are so many Bowens around Melbourne because they provide the best timber and hardware in Australia. Hallam, Hastings, Laverton North. Bowens have been around for 128 years helping Aussies with their projects. Whereabouts? Melton, Mount Evelyn, North Melbourne, Phillip Island. Even penguins use Bowens because they're that great. Wow. Where else? Shepparton, Port Melbourne, Rowville. Well, of course they do. Oh yeah, because well, they're Bowens. They are the builder's choice. Oh, where else? Taylor's Lakes, Warragul, Pakenham.
So the Socceroos are in yet another World Cup and they play France at 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. There was a lot of talk about who was in the World Cup squad for the Socceroos and also who was out of the World Cup squad. There's been an announcement made that Marco Tilio from Melbourne City has come in as an injury replacement for Martin Boyle, but it's not confirmed whether or not Martin Boyle is completely out of the World Cup just yet. But the fact that Marco Tilio has been called up means that maybe there are a lot of doubts in terms of Martin Boyle's participation for the World Cup. I just want to ask you guys, with the World Cup squad for the Socceroos, Mitch Langerak, there's been a lot of talk about his absence from the World Cup squad. What did you guys make of it?
Ladies first.
I don't know. There's a lot of talk about the fact that with the emissions and such a young side for this World Cup, there's a lot of talk that we're a bit underdone from past years. I mean, if you have a look at it, we've only got Aziz Milas, Jackson Irvin, Jamie McLaren, Aaron, I sometimes used to say Mui, but Moy, and Bailey Wright. They're the only two-time caps, and Ryan, sorry, the captain for the World Cup. The rest of them are a lot of the Olyroos from Tokyo 2020.
It's a very young team.
I think that we're taking a risk because normally the gents are pretty fit out on the pitch. And I'm not sure that we're going into this with the best picked squad. However, I have hope for my boys. I really do. When I look at the plagued injuries of France and some of the issues, I mean, not just that, but you know, you talk about their bad luck, they win, then they don't in the next subsequent one. They had the whole issues of the injuries, red cards, and the shock. Didn't get out of the round stages in 2002. But then in 2010, they had a player revolt. They're a very emotional, dramatic country. Not to take anything from them.
You should say, yeah.
Well, in terms of your culture comes through your sport, right?
Yeah.
I just think that, I don't know, I feel like we're going in a little bit underdone, but I've got hope that we've got the speed and the skill, because one of the things about the Australian team is that once we start training together, we do bond as a team. We don't have a lot of standout internationals. We don't have the Mbappes, the Neymars. We don't have the
individual
Messis.
brilliance, as
That's
they
right.
say.
Well, we don't, but that doesn't mean that we should be written off in this game. My money's actually on Australia for this game, despite some of the inclusions and exclusions of the Australian team, that I was expecting a different lineup. I really was.
Okay.
I guess Mitch Langerak is probably not so crucial. So no doubt about his quality, you know, but we have met many Ryan there. So I would not make it dependent on if we make it to the next round or not. It's not dependent on whether Mitch Langerak is there or not.
Of course.
So it's definitely surprising, right? But I think, so now we have Maddie Ryan, we have Danny Vukovic, we have Andrew Redmayne. There were definitely a few surprising decisions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about that at the start. In general, it's a very difficult, a very tough group. And looking back, Australia did very well against France at the first game in 2018. This year could maybe be similar. That might be their chance, because it is a little bit of a curse that the former World Cup champion, is not doing that well at the next tournament,
Yeah,
right?
well,
It happened to Germany, to Spain, to Italy, to all
France,
of them, you know. And we know from history it has been a long time ago that a team won 2 World Cups in a row.
Yeah.
So that might be Australia's chance, that this tiny little bit that gives you the hunger, the aggressiveness, which I think will be very present with Brazil and Argentina.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of, I mean, I agree. I agree with you both. I think if there's ever going to be an opportunity for Australia to win or to do well, especially against a World Cup champion like France, now is the time to do it.
Yep.
I have a little bit of doubt with our coach, with Graham Arnold. I'm still not 100% convinced with him. I mean, I know the Olympic Games doesn't really mean much in the terms of the footballing hemisphere and the footballing calendar and all that, but there were a lot of really bad decisions. There were really bad technical errors from the coach at that tournament. I hope he's learned his lesson. I hope that the Socceroos can do a lot better. In terms of Mitch Langerak and his omission from the squad, the fact that he said, look, I'm playing in Japan, I'm going through all the quarantines and all this sort of stuff to do with COVID, and it's just too much for me. I want to retire from international football. They said, okay, fine. Then they brought him back, got him into the squad for the New Zealand friendlies that happened a few months ago. So they got him through this whole process and rigmarole of saying, okay, you're going to be part of the squad, you're going to be part of the team. And then in the last minute, they said, no, sorry, you're not in. And there wasn't really a good explanation as to say why he wasn't there. So Mitch Langerak is the only goalkeeper in that group who is playing overseas on a regular basis, because Matthew Ryan is a substitute for his club, Copenhagen in Denmark. So Langerak is playing constantly in Japan. He's one of the best goalkeepers in that league. He's kept a lot of clean sheets. He's doing really, really well. And yet they brought in Dani Vukovic, who's the goalkeeper for Central Coast Mariners, who, yes, he has experience and has done a lot of stuff, but can you compare him with Langerak? And having Langerak in that position, just in the squad, makes Matthew Ryan say, oh, geez, I've got to train harder, I've got to work harder to get my place in the squad. But in terms of the squad in general, I want to do a compare the pair, so to speak. But the current Socceroos squad, 8 players are currently playing in the A-League. That's including Marco Tilio. 3 from Melbourne City, 3 from Central Coast, 1 from Sydney, 1 from Adelaide. 2 play in the Japanese second division, not even the first division, the second division. 7 players play in Scotland. 3 of them play for Hearts. 2 play in Italy, 1 in the Serie A, 1 in the second division. 1 plays in La Liga, 1 plays in the German second division. 2 play in Denmark, 1 plays in the United States. 3 play in the English Championship, no English Premier League players. And we compare that to 2006, 3 were in the A-League, 1 was in La Liga, 3 were from Serie A, 1 from the Bundesliga, 1 from the Dutch Eredivisie, 2 were playing in Switzerland, 1 was playing in Sweden, 11 were playing in England, and 9 of them were playing in the English Premier League. Yep. So, you know, obviously that was the golden generation of the time, but I think it's a little bit concerning that we don't have players who are constantly playing in Europe and in good clubs in Europe.
And that's a discussion I think we had in the past, like Matthew Leckie, the best example for me, or Jamie McLaren, with all respect. I mean, we've met him, right? I mean, 2 players that have that experience, played Germany, Bundesliga, then Jamie went to Scotland, but Matthew Leckie played in Berlin as well. So these players coming back to Australia, they have their own reason for that, right? Be it either family, you know, be it either they don't want to put themselves under so much pressure, under the lens of the focus. But what does that show to younger players, you know, the emerging ones, when your shining stars, more or less, you know, are like suddenly coming back to the A-League, and with all respect,
Yeah.
the A-League is not there where the top European leagues
Exactly.
are, right?
Exactly.
Miles behind, miles
Yeah.
behind. I mean, that's the thing, right? The best leagues in the world are producing some of the best players.
Yeah.
And you've said it, who do we have in this squad?
Yeah.
It's the best of the best in different, you know, you look at the English Premier League, you look at
La Liga,
Serie A, La
Serie A.
Liga, Bundesliga, all of those have premium players in them.
Yeah.
And it is almost like, as Bern just mentioned, it's almost like we've scaled back as Australian players and we've sort of cuddled up at home again. I have no idea if this is an effect of COVID and people coming home and, you know, cities locked down. But even when you go through all the clubs that they're currently being drawn from, it seems like it's a New South Wales team. Sorry, but it does
Yeah.
when you look at their local imports.
Yeah.
You don't even have a player from our national champion at the moment, from Western United, right?
Well,
in
that's
the
true,
in the
yeah.
squad.
That is
Exactly.
true. But also, before we go with the Socceroos, I mean, we were saying that they have a good chance of beating. Well, I won't say a good chance of beating France, not because of a technical side of thing, but there's a lot of outs with the French national team.
I think
and the
they will beat
Socceroos
them.
Can beat them. So I was going to
No,
ask
will.
you.
I'm going to say will.
You think they will beat them?
Let's go through France's absolute injury list and their maybe injury list. So
Two
Kante is out, Pogba is out, Magnan is out, Kimpembe is out, Nunuku is out. They are all known injuries, gone, out of the squad. Key players through the midfield and some of the defenders. Under an injury cloud, not likely to start, but let's hope they come good. Benzema, Varane, Conde and Mbappe.
That's a big out. I mean, big injury like concerns with
14
those sorts
days
of players.
before the start of the World Cup, Mbappe was taken off for Paris Saint-Germain, sat on the side, was taken back all the way into the rooms. Injury doesn't look all that great. He has turned up at Qatar with the team, but I would put him under an injury cloud of even starting at the moment. I hope he comes well. He's an absolutely sensational player. He's one of my favourites in terms of emerging younger players in the game. We can only say that for a few more years, right? Because he's no longer 19. But I just think with those injuries and just the turmoil going on around the French team at the moment, I think we've got a good chance of actually getting up.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
too.
my call.
Yeah. Do you agree? No.
I-
Okay. That's all got. No.
I disagree. Yeah, no. I think with all respect to the Australian team, but the quality that France still has.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
should be. It's gonna be. I think Australia's definitely capable, similar to what happened in 2018, to challenge them. That for sure. But in the end, France will secure the win.
Yeah. Look, we hope.
They will struggle more against Denmark.
Let's all
but
hold hands and pray that the Socceroos can actually do it. But yeah, you're right. If they can eke a draw, okay, I'm happy with that. But yeah, well, good luck.
I'm going whole.
But just to quickly go through all the rest of the games, Monday, 3 a.m, Qatar versus Ecuador. So that's the opening game. That's the opening match in a few hours' time. And look forward to seeing the opening ceremony. It won't be as good as 94 with Diana Ross missing an open goal from like 5 metres out. But we'll see what happens
She's a
there.
singer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can call it that. But Tuesday, 12 a.m, England versus Iran. 3 a.m, Senegal versus the Netherlands. 6 a.m, USA versus Wales. 9 p.m, Argentina, Saudi Arabia. Wednesday, 12 a.m, Denmark, Tunisia. 3 a.m, Mexico, Poland. 6 a.m, Australia, France. 9 p.m, Morocco, Croatia. Thursday, 12 a.m, Germany, Japan. 3 a.m, Spain versus Costa Rica. 6 a.m, Belgium versus Canada. 9 p.m, Switzerland versus Cameroon. And then Friday, 12 a.m, Uruguay versus South Korea. 3 a.m, Portugal versus Ghana. And 6 a.m, Brazil versus Serbia. So interesting matches. Is there a particular team or a particular game that you think, okay, I'm really looking forward to this one? Apart from the Socceroos and France.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing Senegal play. Even while Mane is not likely to start in the first two games, the African
out.
teams,
He's completely out.
He's completely
He's
out.
completely out,
Oh,
yeah.
that just broke my heart.
That came from the heart. It just broke my heart. Just
No, seriously. Look, the African teams have not broken through the ceiling past the semi-finals, and I think that in terms of African nations, Senegal's my strongest pick of those teams between Ghana, Cameroon and Senegal. I've got them as front runners because even without Mane, they're a very strong, solid team. African teams have a different playing style, but what they lack is a bit of discipline on the pitch and also their coaching direction give them another few World Cups and I think they'll be the ones to start beating. But I think they're going to be a bit of a surprise. I think they'll get beyond the barrier of where they've been previously. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Senegal team play besides Australia, France.
Sounds good. What do you think, Jim?
I mean, regarding the names, probably Brazil versus Serbia is a...
Really? Okay.
So,
Brazil
no,
versus Serbia.
that's
That was a surprise.
yeah, that's probably one where you, if I now remember all the games, not have, or where I would say two components are, Serbia is not that bad. I mean, any European team at a World Cup is, with all respect to other national teams, but also national associations, the European teams, there's a reason why they have the biggest number, right, with 13 teams over there. But Germany versus Japan, I think it's going to be interesting because Japan, a top Asian team, right? Germany, one of the top European teams. So there will be a good few ones apart, of course, also from France versus Australia. So
I see your logic in that. I think, yes, you're right with the European teams, but then again, there's so many European countries that they have to fit. But I actually think people should be taking an eye on Wales. They have an okay team. You got Giggs and Ramsey and all that, but Wales, I think, are going to surprise a few nations and
Giggs.
Yeah, not Giggs, sorry.
Bale.
Bale. My apologies. I've gone back in time. Sorry. Gone back in time. Bale, Ramsey, and Hennessy. Although I don't think he'll be starting. I think it'll be Ward will be in goals. But Wales, they'll be a surprise packet, I think, and possibly even Canada. You never know. There's always these teams that just come out of nowhere and surprise everyone. I mean, yeah, it happens in every World Cup, but we'll see. But hopefully, yeah.
Who's your favorite, if you have to name one team?
I think Germany.
Germany.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I honestly believe Germany are going to win.
I think they're going to take it out this year.
Now I feel bad, but
You should just in general, but if for this show, sure,
Yeah.
no worries. But no, I actually think Germany are going to win.
do.
I'm being serious. I think Germany are going to win. I actually think England might cause a surprise. I would not be at all surprised if England does really, really well. They've
Until
got a
they
good
start
young
its
team.
coming home campaign
Oh,
and
if
undo themselves.
yeah, all right. If they please don't sing that song, please don't sing that song. If you win the World Cup, okay, but just don't sing that song.
Leading
all
you
right?
up to, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not no Germany.
so mine is really Argentina or Brazil.
Argentina.
Yeah.
They are the front runners for a lot of people.
So just also because of I believe in this kind of hunger that a team brings, and those two are due.
Yeah.
And Argentina, I mean, it's Messi's last chance, but I see him a bit different, than Ronaldo. Ronaldo hasn't played that much, like last chance. Messi is still in good shape, and Argentina, I think, has been unbeaten now for 3 years.
Yeah.
So they played a very good qualification. Brazil, not as dependent on Neymar anymore as they were in the past,
True.
I would say. So. But let's see, that's the good thing with the World Cup. Anything can happen,
I'll
right?
tell you what, Belgium, with the team they have, if they don't win now, they will never, ever win it. Because the team they've got at their disposal, some of the talent, Belgium.
But they are, I think, already a little bit on the downhill in 2018, and then also at the last European Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have a De Bruyne, they still have the Courtois from Madrid in goals, right? They have Lukaku, but I think already they are not as good anymore as they were 4 years ago. So
Yes, I agree. But like I said, if they, like, I think some of them know that.
Yeah.
I think the players know that. I think, if
But
they
there will
don't
always
have
be a
good shot,
surprise at a World Cup, and I'm
That's
looking
right.
forward to whoever it's going to be. So
Yeah, well, as long as it's not Qatar, because if they make it through this, the group stage and all that, it's like, It's like, there'll be some certain question marks. I think. But we can talk about this all day, but unfortunately we can't. We have to go. We'd like to thank Floyd Cardoso from Melbourne Social Soccer and Margaret Perrell, who is our France supporter. I'd like to thank, obviously, Bernd Merkel and Diane Leonard. Good luck to Germany. Good luck
Thanks,
to the
Gabriel.
Socceroos.
good luck to Uruguay.
Yeah, they're going to need it. So, yeah, but we'll see what happens. But we'll be back same time, same place next week, Saturdays at 7 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you again next week. Enjoy the football. Bye for now.
Thank you.